Hey, what's up, baseball fans? Anthony with Bleacher Bums Gaming, and we are back with our 1969 Fergie Jenkins replay featuring that excellent baseball game by Joe Bryan at SidelineStrategy.com, Payoff Pitch. And this game is actually, this was one of the key points in the 1969 season for the Cubs. This was the second game of a three-game series in which the Mets swept the Cubs at Shea to go from 2.5 out to a half game in first place. And in this game played on 9/9/1969, the Mets defeated the Cubs and Fergie 7-1 behind a masterful performance by Tom Seaver. So this is a very crucial game in this replay, and this could be one to determine whether or not the Cubs make up enough ground to actually get into the postseason in this replay. So as we sit right now, Fergie in the replay is 24-10 as compared to 19-12 in real life. His ERA is 2.25. It was 3.07 in real life. He's pitched 20 more innings in the replay, 292 to 272, given up 24 less hits, 213 to 237. Walks, given up 43 in the replay, 61 in real life, and Ks are pretty close, 241 in real life and 235 in the replay. Home runs really close, 22 in real life and 21 in the replay today. So again, taking on Seaver, our lineups for today's game for the Cubs: Don Kessinger at short, Glenn Beckert at second, Billy Williams in left, Ron Santo at the hot corner, Ernie Banks at first, Jim Hickman in right, Randy Hundley behind the plate, Don Young in center, and of course Fergie on the mound. For the hometown Mets, Tommy Agee in center, Wayne Garrett at third, Cleon Jones in left, Art Shamsky in right, Ken Boswell at second, Don Clendenin at first. And we'll have a fun fact about Clendenin in our seventh inning stretch today. Jerry Grody is behind the dish, Harrelson at short, and of course Tom Terrific on the mound. We're ready to go. Kessinger set to hit against Seaver, and umpire says play ball. And right away, it's going to be a wheelhouse result, 0-2. And Kessinger, first pitch of the game, that is gone over the left field wall. Don Kessinger takes Tom Seaver deep to start this game, and a huge hit for the Cubbies. That was a start they needed to get off to against Seaver, and it's 1-0. So coming up next, Glenn Beckert. And that is going to be a patient result, and Beckert draws a base on balls. So Seaver, I'm sorry, actually, that's rare. Never mind. That is the rare event chart. And again, using the Glory Days Boxing rare event chart, or baseball, I should say, sorry. So my own custom rare event chart, and 27, nobody on base. Third baseman catches foul ball falling into the stands. Fans knocks it loose. Replay at bat. So Beckert back up to the plate. And 7 from Tom Terrific, and that is going to be an in-play result. And Beckert's going to have a single. So back-to-back hits to start the game for the Cubbies. And that brings up sweet swinging Billy Williams, runner on first, 3. We're going to have a defensive check, and again going to the fast action cards. And it's going to be an error check on the shortstop. Harrelson is a 3. Roll is 70, and he's going to get to that and make the play. And it's going to be a double play. So 6-4-3. And a huge defensive play by Harrelson. 2 down now. Nobody on. That brings up the cleanup hitter Ron Santo. And Seaver, tough out, swing and a miss. And Tom Terrific blows the high heat by Santo. So the side is retired, but the Cubbies get a couple of hits and break on top 1-0 on the strength of Don Kessinger's leadoff home run as we head to the bottom of the first inning. So Tom Terrific now pitching out of a deficit as Fergie takes the hill. Tommy Agee to start it off for the Mets. And that's going to be an in-play result. And Agee ground ball down to Santo. 1 quick out for Fergie. Brings up Wayne Garrett. And 6. That's going to be a tough result. 78. That'll be a fly ball into center field. Don Young, plenty of room out there to haul that in. 2 quick outs for Fergie here in the first inning as Cleon Jones steps up to the plate. And tough, and Fergie with the slider. Jones, check swing, called strike 3, and Mets set down in order in the bottom of the first. Cubbies off to a 1-0 lead, and hopefully this turns into an epic duel. It is a game the Cubs need to win desperately in this replay. As Seaver set to face Mr. Cubby Ernie Banks, and 8's going to be tough. 49, and Ernie Banks fights off a tough outside fastball and goes opposite way, single, to lead off the second inning. So Seaver getting touched up a little bit early in this one as Jim Hickman steps up to the plate. And 11, another wheelhouse result, 42, and that ball is gone again. Jim Hickman, no doubter, 8 rows deep into the left field bleachers, and the Cubbies now lead this 3-0 as Tom Seaver roughed up early in this one. And a 3-run lead, that is usually good enough for Fergie at least to have a shot to win the game. So a big hit for the Cubbies. Nobody out still. Randy Hundley steps up. And 7's going to be an in-play result. And for Hundley, that's going to be a ground ball back to Seaver. Whips it over to first base. 1 down. Catcher went out to talk to Seaver, asked for that last long ball. Get him settled down and get the Mets back in the game. And it's going to be an in-play result. Fly ball into left field. Sweet swinging Cleon Jones goes back to pull that in. And Fergie, the batter, now 2 down. Stake to a 3-0 lead. And that's going to be a tough out result. And Fergie blown away by the fastball. Strike 3. But once again, Seaver, Cubbies get 2 runs on 2 hits, leave nobody. And the long ball hurting Tom Terrific as we head to the bottom of the second inning. 3-0, Cubbies in the lead. And Fergie had a very good first inning. He's had troubles in his early starts, or in early innings, the last couple of starts. So good sign for him that he's off to a good start in this one. Defensive check. And it's going to be an error on shortstop. And Kessinger is a B, and he's going to muff that. So we have our first error of the game, E6, as Shamsky's on at first base. And let's see if the Mets can take advantage to get back in the game. Kent Boswell, the batter. And 7, that's going to be in play result. And 53 is a ground ball down to third base. And 7 on the double play. That's underneath both. 5-4-3, Santo. Quick rocket to second. Beckert with a pivot and 2 outs. The error is not going to bite Fergie in this inning, as Don Clendenin, who again will be the subject of our 7th inning fun fact today. And he takes a Fergie slider, drives into the left field, but plenty of room out there for Williams, and side is retired. So no runs, no hits, 1 error, nobody left. We're heading to the 3rd inning. Cubbies with a 3-0 lead. And Kessinger, the man who started in the first of the leadoff home run, steps up to the dish. And 11, another wheelhouse result to Kessinger. This time not so fortunate. That's going to be a ground ball down to third base. And Wayne Garrett handles that one easily. But another fat pitch to Kessinger. He just didn't get all of this one. Got over the top. 1 down for Glenn Beckert. And tough to Beckert, and 86. That's going to be a ground ball down to shortstop. So Buddy Harrelson takes care of Beckert. 2 down for Billy Williams, and Seaver. Looks like he finally might have an easy inning here. Williams digs in. Here comes the pitch. And ballpark result, and that is going to be off the in-play chart. So Williams trying to keep the inning alive, and not going to do with that. That's going to be a shallow fly ball into left field. So Cleon Jones comes in, gloves that, heads to the dugout, heading to the bottom of the 3rd inning. 3 up, 3 down for the Cubbies, and it's 3-0. Chicago leads New York, as Jerry Grody set to lead it off for the amazing Mets. And yet another defensive check. It's going to be another error check on the shortstop. This time Kessinger bobbles but makes a play. 1 down as he rifles out across the diamond to Banks. It's going to bring up Buddy Harrelson. Kessinger's counterpart on the Mets, and 6. And that's going to be a tough result. And Harrelson, high heat, blown away. Ticked it, but held on to by Hundley. 2 down for Tom Terrific. And Mets still looking for the first hit. And if you remember earlier in this replay, Fergie took a no-hitter into the 7th inning against this team before losing it. I believe Seaver also the opponent or opposing pitcher then. 7's going to be in play, but 0-6, and Seaver is going to put any possibility of that to bed as he singles right back up the middle. And there is no insult worse than giving up a hit to the opposing pitcher, especially the first hit of the game, as Tommy Agee steps up to the dish. 6, that's going to be a tough result, and Fergie bounces back in style, swing and a miss as Agee feels the brunt of Fergie's anger, and it's 1 hit, no runs, no errors. 1 left. We head to the top of the 4th inning. Cubbies holding a 3-0 lead as Ron Santo set to lead it off against Tom Terrific. And 10, that's going to be another ballpark result, and this will be again in play. 16, that's going to be a sharp single between second and short for Santo as the Cubbies get their leadoff runner on here in the top of the 4th inning. Now Seaver continues to be inconsistent on the hill. Ernie Banks the batter, and patient result 99. It's going to be a fly ball into shallow left field. Coming in to take that is Jones. Back to first is Santo, 1 down for Jim Hickman. And Hickman took a 2-run bomb deep into the left field bleachers his first time up, and 8, tough swing and miss. Seaver back with a vengeance. That's Hickman trying for number 2, but he was not even close to catching up with that fastball. 2 down for the catcher, Randy Hundley. And 4, that's going to be a patient result, and Randy Hundley sees ball 4 cross outside and heads down to first base. So Cubbies looking for a little 2-out rally here, 2-out magic. Runners on first and second for Don Young. Tom Terrific, and another defensive result. Had a few of those today. It's going to be an error check on the 3rd baseman, Wayne Garrett, and Garrett is a 357 on the dice, and he's going to bobble that, but recovers and just nips Young at first base. Nice play by Garrett. Side is retired. The Cubbies get 1 hit. No runs, no errors, and they leave 2 as we head to the bottom of the 4th inning. Once again, Chicago, 3-0 lead, and Wayne Garrett, who made that nice play, recovered on a sharply hit ground ball by Young, is going to lead it off against Fergie here in the 4th. So Fergie, tough result, and 87. That is going to be a ground ball down to second base. Beckert handles a tough short hop, digs it out, whips it across the diamond, sidearm style to Don Clendenin. And 1 down for Cleon Jones. I'm sorry, to Banks. It's early here, and I'm mixing up my ball players. So ballpark result, and that's going to be in play for Cleon Jones. And Cleon Jones, 2nd hit of the game for the Mets, as he drives that into shallow left field, drops in front of Williams. 1-out single, Jones at first. And that brings up Art Shamsky. And Shamsky, the left-handed hitting right fielder, reached on an error his first time up, and 7's going to be in play, 0-1, and Shamsky drives that down the line and in the right field corner, rattling around. That is going to be a double. So all runners are going to score, and coming all the way around is Cleon Jones. Mets on the board. It's 3-0. Chicago leads. And Shamsky didn't really get all of that, but he hit it hard enough to get it into the corner, and that cleared the bases. So 3-1, runner on second base for Ken Boswell, another lefty. That's going to be a tough result. And 63 will be a ground ball down to shortstop. That's going to hold the runner at second base. So 2 down, and Don Clendenin, a chance to cut it to a single run with a base hit here. 9 is going to be tough, and 41. That does not bode well as Fergie, again, a slider inside, catches the plate, and Clendenin rung up strike 3. But the Mets get a couple of hits, plate their first run of the game, and we head to the top of the 5th inning. It is 3-1, Chicago in the lead, and Fergie set to lead it off. Fergie's going to be looking to help himself here. And it's going to be a patient result, and Fergie Jenkins Going to drive that into center field, but it's shallow. Coming in to take that is AG, 1 down. Back to the top of the order, Don Kessinger. 1 for 2, a leadoff home run to start the game. Grounded out to third his last time up. And yet another ballpark result. This is crazy. Another wheelhouse result. So 3 wheelhouse results for Kessinger. Can he capture lightning again? 53. No, he cannot. Instead, he grounds that down to third. So for the second time in a row, a wheelhouse result ends up in the glove of third baseman Wayne Garrett, and Kessinger thrown out, 2 down. Glenn Becker, the batter, and 6. That's going to be a tough out. Swing and a miss, Becker. And Seaver dominating at times in this game, shaky at others, but he gets a 1-2-3 fifth. We're halfway through. Cubbies clinging to a 3-1 lead as Jerry Grody set to lead it off for the Mets here in the bottom of the 5th inning. 7, that's going to be an in-play result, and Harrelson drives that. I'm sorry. That was Grody, my bad. Grody drives that into left field. Williams going back and pulls that in short of the track. 1 down, Bud Harrelson, the batter. Harrelson struck out his first time up, and 7, that's going to be an in-play result. And ground ball down to second. Beckert ranges into the hole, picks it up nicely, and a short toss to Ernie Banks. 2 down, and Seaver trailing 3-1. Still early in this one, though. They're going to let him hit. 7 will be an in-play result, and Seaver is going to end the inning with a ground ball down to shortstop. Easy play for Kessinger, and 3 up, 3 down go the Mets in the 5th. We are through 5. It is 3-1, Chicago. A 2-run lead for Fergie as we head to the 6th inning. And sweet swinging Billy Williams set to face Seaver. And yet another ballpark result. This is going to be wheelhouse. Can it happen 3 times? Billy Williams, a big swing, gets all of that, 55, and it is going to be a hard line drive, but that's going to fall in the gap for a single. So leadoff single to start the 6th. As the Cubbies, Seaver not hitting his spots very well today. It's been excellent at times, and again, shaky at others. Tough out, though, 72 to Ron Santo. And again, tough out can only be an out or a strikeout, and that will be a ground ball down to second base. And 6, that is within both double play ratings, so 4-6-3, twin killing. And Seaver induces the ground ball to eliminate the base runner. 2 down for Ernie Banks. Mr. Cubby, he singled and scored ahead of Hickman's home run and flied out to left field his last time up. And 8, that's going to be tough. 48 to Ernie Banks, and Ernie Banks again fights off another tough pitch and drives that opposite way. So single into right field. And Seaver wondered what he has to do to get out Banks. 2 tough pitches to him. 7, that's going to be an in-play result. 27 to Hickman. And Hickman this time grounds that right back to Seaver. Easy toss to first base. So Cubs are set down. 1 hit, no runs, no errors as we head to the bottom of the 6th inning. Chicago got all its runs in the first 2 frames. They lead this 3-0. And Bears Den 007, good morning, good morning. Have an epic pitching matchup, Seaver and Jenkins here. And Seaver got off to a little bit of a rough start early, gave up a couple of home runs in the first 2 innings. And Mets have clawed to within 2, so it's 3-1. As Tommy Agee steps up, it's going to be a tough result and 0-0. We're going to the rare play chart again. So once again, using the my custom rare play chart, which is actually for the sometime forthcoming Glory Days baseball game. 93, catcher and batter argue over pitch. Fight starts, both ejected. So a little bit of a controversy in this one as AG. Not even going to get to finish his at bat, and Hundley is done as well. That could be huge for the Cubs, as he's been a pretty good offensive presence for them during this replay. So AG, he is going to be replaced. Center field. And Rod Gaspar is going to come in to replace Agee, and he will finish his at bat as well. Excuse me. All right, so Gaspar, he has a range of C, a rating of 4. And like Agee, an arm of 7 and not quite as speedy. And then, of course, the big loss, Randy Hundley, I believe, has been behind the plate for every one of Fergie's starts in this replay except one. So backup catcher for the Cubbies. It's going to be Ken Rudolph. So Rudolph not near the presence behind the plate again as Hundley is. So range of A, air rating of 3, arm of 3. And he cannot steal. All right, so that brouhaha is sorted out. Again, fisticuffs break out between Hundley and Agee. We're ready to resume play, and we will resume here. Nobody out in the bottom of the 6th inning. Gaspar in for the ejected Agee, and Fergie. It's going to be a patient result, and Gaspar comes in and draws a base on balls. So Mets, after all that, get a leadoff base runner here in the 6th. Fergie's first walk of the game. Left-handed hitting Wayne Garrett, flown out, grounded out to second base, 7. That's going to be an in-play result. And that'll be a fly ball to shallow left field. Sweet swinging Billy Williams comes in, 2 hands that, whips the ball back into the infield. 1 down, runner back to first. And Cleon Jones, the batter, 6. That's going to be a tough result, and 69, and that will be a fly ball into center field. Don Young has to take a few steps back, but no problem. Routine in nature, so 2 outs after the leadoff walk, Art Shamsky. And Shamsky doubled in the Mets' only run of this ball game. Be an in-play result, and Shamsky puts that into play, ground ball to Santo, and he's going to go the short way to second base. So after the leadoff walk, Fergie sets down 3. Nobody in scoring position for the Mets since back in the 4th inning, the only time they put a runner on second base. So we are heading to the 7th inning. Ken Rudolph in for the ejected Hundley. He's going to lead it off against Seaver. And 11, that's going to be a wheelhouse result, and big cut. Rudolph drives that back into left field, going back to the track to the wall, and Jones pulls it in. So long loud out for Rudolph in his first at bat of this game. And that'll bring up Don Young. Young today has flown out and grounded out to third base, and that'll be an in-play result, 31. And Young, he's going to hit that sharply, but it's going to be right at Harrelson, so 2 outs. As pitcher Fergie steps up. Fergie today struck out, flied out to center field. He has come up with some pretty big hits during this replay. Patient result, and 20, and Fergie is going to get on base again, as if by design. Fergie loops a single into shallow left field, so 2 outs. Runner on first base. Seaver back at the top of the order. Kessinger's got wheelhouses every single at bat in this game. Not going to happen this time, though, as he grounds that sharply to third base. And Garrett makes a nice play, goes a long way. Side retired. Cubbies get a hit. No runs, no errors. We head to the 7th inning stretch. It is Chicago 3, the New York Mets 1. And Beats, what's up, buddy? It's mid-after. You're back in the States now, aren't you, Beatles? And Al Red Sox fan has joined us as well. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, Fergie's had a few hits in this replay, so he seems to come up big. He's come up big a couple of times and helped himself in games. But as promised, our 7th inning fun fact, and that is going to be Don Clendenin. Now, Clendenin, amazingly, he was almost not on this World Series team. He was not protected in the 1968 expansion draft. The Cubs, or I'm sorry, the Pirates, who he played for, were going to go with their prospect Al Oliver, so they left him exposed. And he ended up being drafted by the Montreal Expos. And in January of 1969, the Expos traded Clendenin and Jesus Lou to the Astros for Rusty Staub. Now, if you've watched one of my earlier replays, I did a little feature about during the Astros game about their manager. And Harry Walker, I'm sorry, he had a reputation as being racist with a lot of the players, and Clendenin did not want to go to Houston to play. So he actually, at one point, had retired. And that forced Commissioner Bowie Kuhn to get involved. And he finally forced the trade through, but ordered the Expos to send additional compensation. So Clendenin stayed with the Expos. And through April, he was hitting about 240. And, you know, having a average or mediocre year. They ended up dealing him to the Mets on June 15th in exchange for Steve Renko and Kevin Collins and a couple of minor leaguers. And Clendenin actually started off about the same with the Mets, but he was a big force in their run down the stretch and had a 2 or 3 game-winning hits during that crucial September drive for the Mets. So turned out to be a good trade for both him and the Mets. And Clendenin actually went on to author a book called Miracle in New York, which was released in August of 1999 and still available. It's out of print now, but you can still catch it on Amazon. You'll pay a hefty price if you do want to get it, though. And yeah, it could kind of detail that 1969 season and the events leading up to it. So an interesting read if you are looking to pick that up. And Clendenin sadly left us in 2005 at the age of 70. So there you go, our 7th inning fun fact on Don Clendenin. And we are ready as the Mets need to rally. Ken Boswell is going to try and get it started. And going to be a tough result right off the bat. And it's going to be a ground ball down to Beckert at second base. Beckert sidearms it to Ernie Banks, 1 down as Clendenin, the man we just spoke about, steps up to the plate. And he is 0 for 2 today. He's flown out to Billy Williams and struck out 6. That's going to be a tough result. And Fergie's got his number. The slider freezes him. Check swing called strike 3. It's a third Met that Fergie sent down looking today as Jerry Grody steps up to the plate. Grody grounded out to Kessinger, flew out. Defensive check again. We've had like 6 of those. It's going to be an error on the third baseman, Santo, and he's going to botch that. Sorry, guys, I got morning voice. Need some water. So second error of the day for the Cubbies, and that is going to give them a 2-out base runner. And Harrelson, if Harrelson gets on, we will see a Seaver pinch hit for. So 5, that's going to be a patient result, 19 to Harrelson, and he's going to draw the base on ball, so we will indeed see a pinch hitter for Seaver. So we'll close the book on Tom Terrific. Not his best outing. Fergie's bested him already in this replay. He goes 7 innings, gives up 7 hits, 3 runs, all earned, and of course the big blows were those home runs by Kessinger in the first and Jim Hickman in the second. He ends up striking out a total of 4 and walks 1. So not a bad outing by any means. Not a what would be considered a amazing outing for Tom Seaver, though. So the Mets trailing 3-1. Bullpen, they're going to go to Ron Taylor as their next pitcher. And coming up to pinch hit, it is going to be Ed Kranepool. And Kranepool's got a little bit of pop in his bat. So runners on first and second, 2 outs. And Kranepool, if he can go deep, he can give the Mets the lead. And Fergie has had some issues with the long ball in his last couple of starts. In fact, the last 2 starts have closed the number of home runs allowed in the replay to almost exactly what he had in real life at this time. 22-21. So Kranepool looking to make some magic. Here we go. IDJ in the chat, good morning and welcome. And yes, at least it's not dead ball. I will play a dead ball game later for you if you are begging me to, though, IDJ. It's going to be another patient result, and Fergie comes up big. He's going to get out of this as a routine fly ball to left field, and sweet swinging Billy Williams able to put that away, and that retires the side. So the Mets get a hit and error, leave 2 as we head to the 8th inning, and Chicago holding on to that 3-1 lead, which they have had since inning number 4. And on the mound for the Mets is Ron Taylor, and the right-hander. He was 9-4 with a 2.72 ERA in 1969, and they are trusting him to keep this close. Yet again, a defensive check. Error on the pitcher, and Taylor, he's going to make that play no problem, though. Some good glove work on the hard hit ground ball by Beckert. 1 down for sweet swinging Billy Williams. And Williams, tough, 0-2. Big swing, big miss, nothing but air. Williams struck out. And that makes him 1 for 4 on the day with a single. As Ron Santo steps up to the plate. Santo 1 for 3, struck out, hit into a double play and hit a single as well. And it's going to be an in-play result. And Santo, he's going to drive that into center field into the gap, and ranging into the gap is Gaspar, replacing Tommy Agee, and he makes a nice running catch there. Side is retired, 3 up, 3 down, as we head to the bottom of the 8th inning. Cubbies clinging to that 3-1 lead. And top of the order, Rod Gaspar in his second at bat. He walked after the scuffle between Agee and Hundley got them both ejected. And, of course, that was back in the 6th inning. Fergie, that's going to be a tough result. And this time, only place Gaspar walks is back to the dugout. Fergie points the way. A nice slider, gets a swing and a miss. 1 down for Wayne Garrett. The lefty steps up. Tough result for Fergie. Fergie kicking and dealing. Strike 3 called. And the 4th time a Mets batter has gone down looking. That slider is breaking here in the late innings. 2 down. Cleon Jones, the batter. And 9, tough for play. Swing and a miss, the high heat. Fergie Jenkins strikes out the side in the 8th, and he is dealing. So pumps his fist, runs off the mound. We are heading to the 9th inning, 3-1, Chicago in the lead. This is a big game. They need to win this to have any hope of catching the Mets in this 1969 payoff pitch Fergie Jenkins replay. And again, sorry for the morning voice. 10, that's going to be a patient result. And Ernie Banks is going to draw the base on balls. I'm sorry, not. He's going to actually single to lead off the 9th inning for the Cubbies. So first hit surrendered by Taylor, and that brings up Jim Hickman. Cubs looking to get some insurance. 5, that's going to be a ballpark result. And 39, be a pop fly into shallow left field, and ranging back to put that away is Harrelson. So 1 down. Banks back to first base. Ken Rudolph, the batter. Rudolph in for the ejected Hundley. 6, and tough result, 57, and that's going to be a big swing, and again, nothing but air. So Rudolph goes down swinging. He was going for everything on that. Missed it all. Don Young up, 2 outs, runner on first base. Taylor the sign, kicks, delivers, and that is going to be a fly ball into shallow left field. Coming in to take that waist high is Cleon Jones. And that is going to retire the side here in the 9th. Leadoff single. Cubs leave Banks stranded at first base. We are heading to the bottom of the 9th inning. Fergie in control, and he is working on a 3-hitter. He's been good against the Mets in this replay. So 3 outs to get out of here with win number 25 for Fergie. Let's check with the chat real quick. 3 up, 3 down via the K. Yeah, Fergie. That's the God, I can't remember the last time he struck out the side in this replay. Had the dice in his favor there. And Clinton Parks, what's up, buddy? Welcome back into the air of the pitcher. May as well be dead ball. I love it. ID Jester loves it also. He was talking about how much this reminded him of the dead ball era earlier. When did I miss a ballpark check? Shea is not a super or friendly hitter's park. I may have missed a number on there. Dang it. Dave from Baseball Demos, also welcome. And best to you and Regina as well. Clinton, thank you very much. Mrs. Bleacher Bum's working away in her office next to mine, which I'm about to start doing after this game. So here we go. Bottom of the ninth inning, Art Shamsky leading it off. And 4, that's going to be a ballpark result 48. That will be an in play. And Shamsky, 31, and just misses that. Hits it off the end of the bat, and that goes into foul territory. Santo there to pull in the pop fly, and 1 down in the bottom of the ninth. Ken Boswell, the batter. And 8, that's going to be a tough result, and Fergie swinging his foul tip, and holding on to that is Rudolph. So Fergie has struck out 4 of the last 5 batters he has faced. He's finishing with a flourish. Another masterpiece for Jenkins in this 1969 replay. And tough. Here comes a pitch. Slider on the outside corner. Clendenin watches it go by. Umpire says, you are done. Strike 3. Ball game over. So Fergie, throwing BBs the last 2 innings, strikes out 5 of the last 6 batters he faces, and the Cubbies escape with an important, a vital, crucial 3-1 win over the Mets. So let's add up the final line scores. Fergie, he was lights out against the Mets earlier in this replay, taking a no-hitter into the 7th against them, and just as good today. So Fergie's going to go 9 innings, gives up 3 hits. The Cubbies get 3 runs, 8 hits, 2 errors. Mets 1 run, 3 hits, no errors. So Fergie's final line score, and he's going to get player of the game for sure in this one. 9 innings pitched, 3 hits, and he struck out 6, 7, 9. A 10 strikeout, 2 walk day for Fergie Jenkins. So he has shown he has the Mets number, and at least in this replay. He lost this game in real life 7-1. But today it's all about Jenkins, player of the game. Win number 25 goes to 25-10 on this replay. And he has 3 starts left in this, folks. And after that, we'll do the numbers to see if the Cubs, it's, of course, a tough hill to climb, but we'll see if they've caught up with the Mets. So let's go to the chat. And Baseball Demos, 27 Yankees versus 27 Pirates, World Series game on in history. Did you, Dave, did you rate those cards yourself? I don't recall them having a 27 season. I know that I got the 1923 season from Keith before he stopped publishing it, and I've had some fun with that. Cubs do win. Honey Bunny is at home chasing criminals. I have an outdoor type job. Okay. It's Dave, and hope you all fun game. Take care. Thank you very much, Al. Have a great day. And IDJ, I'm glad we didn't bore you with too little offense, buddy. I'll get a dead ball game for you later. So thanks to everyone for stopping by. Again, ID Gesture, Bears Den 007, Al Red Sox fan, Beatles Eternity, Clinton Parks, Hammer Time, and Dave from Baseball Demos. And Dave from Baseball Demos has the 27 Yankees, 27 Pirates World Series Game 1 coming up today with History Maker. Coming up this weekend. And yes, thank you very much for that. We'll be making sure to check that out. So yeah, check out all the wonderful channels. Al Red Sox fan playing some Pine Tar baseball. Back into the chats. Had a good chat this weekend that I got in at the very end of. Clinton Parks with his Cardiac Baseball League. And Beatles Eternally. Good to see him back and broadcasting. And of course, IDJ, he's playing some inside volley tennis, inside the cup golf. He's on an Inside Sports Games, and they make some excellent games. I've got to get another baseball game back up on the channel. So definitely need to check out that Inside the Cup golf. That actually looks pretty fun. So yeah, support our members of the community. Thanks everyone for checking in. I've got to get to work now, but wrapping it up again. Cubbies 3, Mets 1, a epic battle between Seaver and Jenkins, and Seaver just could not keep the ball in the park, and that cost him the game. So thank you to everyone for supporting the channel. And Hammer Time, am I still doing? Yes, actually, I've got, thank you for reminding me of that. I will get an update on that either this afternoon or tomorrow. That might be what I do tomorrow morning, actually. What I decided to do on that is I simmed ahead a few seasons because I wanted to get everyone in the league and established. So I'll have an update on that. I think we're about 8 seasons in now. So I'll kind of give an update on where everybody is. Walter Johnson, of course, hadn't been drafted yet, and he's in the league now. So yeah, I will catch everyone up on that. And again, I will plan to do that tomorrow morning. And then I'll probably do 2 more updates after that, one toward the 10, 11, 12-year mark of their careers, and then a final summary wrap-up of everyone's careers. I like doing stuff. I do that all the time off the channel just to see what would happen. I put players in different eras and see how they would fare. Thus far in the replay, it looks like Cobb is going to have the best career, but we will see when I do the update. But thanks again, everyone, for watching. We'll see you. Be safe out there and have a great day. Take care.